My name is Lauren Mitchell. I am 36 years old, and I built my fashion brand, Levnier, from scratch. Every stitch, every collection, every late night spent sketching in a cramped studio was mine. I never borrowed anyone's last name. I never leaned on anyone's inheritance. I built my name by myself. And for a while, I believed my marriage matched that strength. Daniel Mercier, my husband, stood beside me at every gala and every show. He wore the smile of a partner, and I thought that was real. The night everything collapsed was not a night of arguments or suspicions. It was ordinary. I came back to my showroom after a late meeting, expecting silence. Maybe the smell of fabric dye that never seemed to fade. Instead, I heard whispers and laughter. That sound didn't belong there. I walked in and saw Daniel on the sofa we had placed near the display rack, his hand tangled in the hair of Serena Walsh, a fashion influencer I had seen floating through events. They were kissing as if the world outside didn't exist. I froze. Not because of the kiss, but because of his face when he noticed me. Daniel leaned back, casual, smirking, as if I had interrupted something he was entitled to. And then he spoke, voice low, arrogant, every word sharp as glass. He told me I couldn't leave him, that without the Mercer family, without him, I had nothing. Nothing. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I stood there, my chest burning, my hands shaking. While Serena adjusted her dress and pretended not to care, Daniel's smirk carved itself into my memory. A reminder that he truly believed my worth existed only through his name. That single moment shifted the ground under my feet. When they left, the silence felt heavier than their laughter. I looked around my own showroom, at the sketches pinned on the wall, the fabric swatches spread across the table, the brand that carried my name. Nothing, no. He was wrong. I knew in that instant he had made the mistake of underestimating me. 6 months later, Daniel Mercer and his family would learn that the woman he dismissed as nothing could turn betrayal into the most devastating kind of revenge. After Daniel and Serena left the showroom that night, I stood in silence long enough to hear the echo of the door shutting behind them. My heart was still pounding, but beneath the ache, something steadier was forming. I forced myself to move, to look around the room that had always been my sanctuary. That was when I noticed it. A small detail so out of place it pulled me forward. On the corner of the sofa, half hidden by a cushion, sat a wallet. I picked it up with trembling hands, the leather still warm as if recently touched. When I flipped it open, the name inside confirmed what I had already seen with my own eyes. Serena Walsh. There was her driver's license, her face staring back at me under harsh DMV lighting. There were credit cards, a folded receipt from a ride share, even a business card from a publicist. Each item felt heavier than it should, not because of the weight, but because of what it represented. She had walked into my showroom, kissed my husband on my sofa, and left behind the keys to her life. I sat at my desk and studied every detail. The receipt showed a drop-off address, not far from the Upper West Side. I typed it into my phone and stared at the map, memorizing the location. I wasn't ready to go there yet, but knowing where she lived made her suddenly tangible. She wasn't just a name or a face on social media. She was real, careless, and within reach. Curiosity pressed me forward. I opened my laptop and searched her name. Within seconds, her profiles appeared. Instagram first. Rows of curated images, brunches on rooftop patios, champagne flutes raised at gallery openings, beach vacations with designer swimsuits. Every photo screamed effortless glamour. But it was too polished, too staged. I knew the difference between organic success and manufactured branding. Serena's world was a set, and Daniel was the man funding the production. Scrolling further, I noticed something else. Just days earlier, she had posted a photo wearing a sample jacket that hadn't yet been released from my fall collection. My blood ran cold. That design was still on my sketch wall, not even finalized for the runway. The only way she could have touched it was through Daniel. Betrayal was no longer confined to my marriage bed or my showroom sofa. It had spread into my work, into the brand I had fought to build. I wanted to storm into Daniel's office, to throw the wallet on his desk, to demand why he thought she deserved to wear what I created before the world had even seen it. But I stopped myself. Outrage would only give him the satisfaction of seeing me rattled. Evidence, on the other hand, was power. Evidence stayed silent until the right moment, and then it destroyed without warning. So I placed Serena's wallet into a drawer and locked it. It was no longer just a piece of leather. It was leverage. Every receipt, every credit card, every connection was a thread, and I was holding them all. That night, when I lay in bed alone, I repeated Daniel's words in my head. "You have nothing." The arrogance of that sentence burned hotter than the memory of the kiss. But as I stared at the ceiling, I realized he had given me everything I needed. He had handed me a reason to fight, and the first weapon to start with. The next morning, I woke not with tears but with focus. The path ahead was clear. I wasn't going to confront him yet. I wasn't going to shout or plead. I was going to follow the evidence. And every step would bring me closer to turning his arrogance into his downfall. The address on Serena Walsh's rideshare receipt lingered in my mind like an unfinished sentence. One evening, I found myself walking past that Upper West Side block, telling myself it was only curiosity. The brownstone was elegant, discreet, the kind of place people pay dearly for privacy. I had no plan to confront her. I only wanted to see the life she stepped back into after leaving mine in ruins. I didn't expect to see him, a tall man with dark hair, wearing the kind of tailored coat that speaks of quiet money. Unlocked the front door. Serena appeared at his side, laughing, her hand brushing against his shoulder in a way no stranger would. He leaned down to kiss her cheek before they stepped inside together. My stomach tightened. Serena wasn't single. Wasn't some free spirit influencer building her empire alone. She was married. The revelation struck harder than I anticipated. She hadn't just betrayed me. She was betraying him too. Another victim existed in this mess. Another person being fed lies. For a moment, I considered leaving it alone, convincing myself it wasn't my business. But then I thought of Daniel's smirk, his careless words, and the jacket Serena had flaunted on social media before it had ever touched the runway. Silence would only serve them. Truth could serve me. I spent the next day gathering what I had: the wallet, the photos from her feed, the time-stamped post in my unreleased jacket, the receipt with the brownstone address. Then I sent an email. I kept it brief, respectful, and to the point. I introduced myself as Lauren Mitchell, explained that I was married to Daniel Mercer, and told him I had reason to believe Serena Walsh was not only involved with him but also entangled in my marriage. I attached the proof. His reply came within hours. His name was Marcus Hale. He thanked me, not with empty words, but with a calm acknowledgement that he had suspected for weeks. He asked to meet. When we sat down across from each other in a quiet cafe near Bryant Park, there was no awkwardness, only recognition. Marcus carried himself with composure, but his eyes told the story of someone blindsided, someone holding himself together while the ground shifted beneath him. He listened as I laid out the evidence. When I finished, he exhaled slowly, steady but pained. He told me Serena had been distant, distracted, always excusing late nights as events and content shoots. He had felt the lies but had no confirmation until now. We spoke for hours, trading details like puzzle pieces, my sketches stolen,